face!
Straight up to my face!
Hello lovers and welcome back to Travel Snacks. Today we go to Seattle, Washington to try the best breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert options.
Now before I go any further, there is cussing in this episode, so if you don't like to hear the B word, you're going to want to skip this first section. And I'll put the timestamps in the description so you'll know when this breakfast portion is over and I won't be saying the B word anymore.
After eating at McDonald's a lot of mornings in a row, I was like, you know what, I want something delicious, savory, and hearty. So I looked on Yelp and I was looking for a place that had a really good egg dish, omelets, or maybe some biscuit. So I looked on Yelp and I found a few spots, and one of the spots that had a lot of reviews and the food looked really good from the pictures was a place called Biscuit Bitch. And I thought that it's probably going to be like a down-home cooking style place, and it definitely was. By the time I drove over there, was about 8 in the morning. It was already really busy. There was a long line, but the line moved pretty quickly. And as soon as I got up to the counter, the guy at the register was like, "What up, bitch?" And I was like, this dude just called me a bitch straight up to my face.
Straight up to my face.
And then like in a split second, I remembered the name of the place is called Biscuit Bitch. And I was like, oh, like that's their thing. That's what they do. That must be like really freeing to work there and be able to call every customer a bitch. I worked at jobs where I really wanted to cuss people out. A lot of times I worked remotely, so I would cuss a lot at my screen. But to be able to actually say it to the person must be a really refreshing feeling. The place is decorated like trailer parky, and like there's murals and there's signs that say clean yourself, bitch. Like there's a real strong presence of this very lax environment, and I think it goes along with the breakfast meals. They have a really extensive menu. There's some signature items. You can get regular biscuits and signature biscuits, and there's just a bunch of stuff. So I ordered my meal, sat down, and it was really, really hearty and delicious. I brought the rest out in a to-go container, and what's really cool is that the cardboard tray that it comes in fits perfectly into this container, so that's very smart. So you don't have to like shovel the food in and like waste. So I mean, I guess it's kind of still wasting because you're using 2 containers, but this is so good. Like if you like savory food, this is a really great breakfast. It was $9.50. I got the gritty scrambled cheesy bitch. It's biscuits and gravy smothered in cheese, scrambled eggs on top, and garlic grits. It's super substantial, and they give you 2 full biscuits. Pulling the cheese just up, it was so good. Like, I read some reviews. I don't know if it was on Yelp or Google, but some people are ridiculous. Like, okay, listen, I'm a Christian, but I still cuss. I really do sometimes, and I try to keep it clean, but like, this is a novelty shop. If you're going to a place called Biscuit Bitch, be prepared to see the word bitch and to hear the word bitch. So one of the reviews was like,
They call me bitch at every turn, and they saw that I was cringing, but they still called me bitch.
Bitch, that is part of their job. That's what they need to do. Like, don't go into a place knowing that it's called Biscuit Bitch and not think you're going to be called a bitch. And they're not calling you bitch like in an abusive, derogatory way. It's like when you hang out with your friends, you're like, bitch, you know? It's just so, it's a word. That's just like if you listen to rap music and you hear like a bunch of bad stuff. It's like, if you don't like what they're saying, don't listen to it. Like, how is this a hard concept? I don't know. Anyway, that was a full-on tangent. Anyways, the food there is delicious. I really also wanted to get the buttered up bitch, which is just a biscuit with butter and like jam, or you could have it with other things like Nutella. What the heck? This dude is just straight yelling. Calm it down, bro. They also had a lot of coffees, and I was gonna get one, but their coffees were like $4 and $5 for specialty coffee, and this meal was already $9.50. So I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to pay 15 bucks for breakfast. The coffee did look good, but I think I'm gonna take myself over to McDonald's and get me a $2 iced coffee and call it a morning. Cheesy deliciousness. I drove around Seattle for a while because I just wanted to see some of the sights. There was really just beautiful architecture, buildings. I got to see the Space Needle, and then I just did a little editing. And then I was like, all right, well, for lunch, I really want to have some tacos. So I looked up some Mexican food restaurants, and there was a place downtown called Taco Chucas. So I was like, all right, that looks really good. I always look at the pictures on Yelp to see what the food looks like. So I drove over. It's paid parking, and I always hate paid parking because I'm already paying for my meal, and then I gotta pay for parking, so it just adds. And when you're on a budget, you're not trying to pay for all that stuff. For this place, I was like, all right, I will give it a try. Found paid parking, rolled up in there, and it was very loud Mexican music. I walked up to the counter, and the girl behind the register had kind of a quiet voice, or maybe I just really couldn't hear her because the music was so loud. And on top of that, she had a very, very strong accent. So literally everything that she asked me, I was like, what? Huh? What? I just couldn't understand, and it was really frustrating. I went and sat down, found a nice spot at the window so that I could look out at the city, people walking by, and it was really good. So here's my account of the 2 items that I ordered. The first one was a taco, and it was really good. It had pork, but it was really small. I mean, it was like really small, those little tiny street tortillas. So I went for their house taco, which is an adobo pork taco with melted cheese, guacamole, and grilled pineapple, plus they put salsa on it. It was $3. And then I also got their baby burrito, which comes with your choice of meat, which I got carne asada, cilantro, onion, salsa, and guacamole. Well, I don't like onion or cilantro, so I canceled all that. The salsa that's on both the taco and the burrito was so spicy to me, I couldn't even enjoy it, and I couldn't even really taste the flavors. This was really spicy, and there was like pepper flakes, like red pepper flakes on my fingers even after eating it. Holy shizzles, I just ate at Taco Chucas, and had their taco and burrito, and the hot sauce on there, the salsa, is very spicy. I'm over here blowing my nose. You know I'm a wimp when it comes to spice, so it was good, but too spicy for me. I was gonna get a horchata, but it was like $3, and I didn't really want to spend the extra, but I really should have got the horchata because I think it would have cooled down my mouth. My lips are burning, my nose is running, my sinuses are like cleared up. That salsa is no joke. I think they should call it hot sauce on there, not salsa, because I don't know, it's just too spicy. Whew. There was one thing that I really wanted to do while I was in Seattle, and that was to go visit If you made it this far, you obviously like me, so hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll know every time I upload a new video. There was one thing that I really wanted to do while I was in Seattle, and that was to go visit the Fremont Troll. This is a carved out rock sculpture under a bridge, and I was like, that is so clever. And it was really close to this Tacos Chucas place. So I went and checked it out. It started to rain, which I love rain. And I mean, it's Seattle, so it's kind of like a perfect Seattle day, visiting a troll under a bridge. I mean, this is so cool. I just took in some of the sights and just really enjoyed the day. But by it raining, there's not too much you can do. And that's what people usually say about places that rain a lot, is like, it's beautiful, but you get sick of it because you want to go out and do things. And then I was like, all right, well, there's one place that I heard a lot of good things about and I wanted to try it, and it was a place called Marination. They have a few locations, and the one I went to was Marination Ma Kai because it was a little bit further out from downtown, and I felt that it was going to be easier for parking. And then I noticed that it was kind of on the coast by the water, so I was like, ooh, that could be pretty. And when I pulled up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Like, a place like this is kind of like usually packed or ritzy, but this place was like, I found a parking spot and it was right on the water. It was beautiful. It was kind of foggy, rainy, and I pulled up and I sat in my car for a while just like looking at the sights and just really being at peace there. And I was like, this is awesome. So I talked to the guy. I told him that I wanted to get the sliders and the tacos, but I asked him which ones he would recommend, and so we talked about it a little bit, and so I ended up ordering miso ginger chicken tacos and 1 Kahlua pork slider and 1 Spam slider. I know people either love Spam or hate Spam. I think I probably tried Spam once when I was a kid, so I have no real knowledge of how it tastes. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. This place was Hawaiian fusion, so I was really curious. I was really surprised that this food was so good. Like, this was right up my alley. So the miso ginger chicken taco was awesome, and the slaw on top, it was like eating like a Chinese chicken salad with really good chicken, and the tortilla, it was also a small little taco, but it was really, really flavorful. And the sliders are on a Hawaiian roll with nunya sauce and slaw. Okay, of my road trip so far, this meal was the best to me because these are just basic foods, but the ingredients together were so good, so fresh, so delicious. I literally would probably eat at this place every day if I lived in Seattle. It was that good. The Spam was good. It tastes kind of like Polska kielbasa sausage because it's like fried Spam, and with their slaw is so good. Honestly, that place was a hit. So if you're ever in Seattle, definitely go to Marination, especially this one, Marination Ma Kai, because it's in such a beautiful location. Even after I left, I was like, it was cold, but I wanted to walk around a little bit because it was right on the water. And what I noticed is that there was a lot of people walking towards the dock. So of course, in my curious nature, I walk up there and I realized that all these people are fishing. And I was like, dude, it's like raining, it's foggy, and it's cold. And all these people are out here just straight fishing, but it was beautiful. These are the kinds of things that I live for when I travel. It was really cool. So I stood out there for a while until I got too cold, and then I went back to my car. There's one last place that I want to go, and that's to get dessert. Even though I was super full, I was like, okay, I still want to go to this place called A la Mode and get a slice of pie so I can get back on the road. So I drove over, and there's another place that was kind of in the city, and it was really hard to find parking. I actually got lost trying to find this place. I was getting frustrated because I was like, you know what, is this pie worth it? I'm driving around for a very long time trying to find this place. So I went in, and I wasn't really sure what kind of pie I wanted, but I looked at the menu ahead, and there was a lot of good choices. I didn't know how much the pie was ahead of time, so when I got in there, and she told me that a slice of pie was $6.25, I almost passed out, but I had driven around looking for parking, got lost. I don't know if it was worth $6 for a slice. I was too full to eat it then, and I knew I had some driving to do on my road trip, so I got in the car and saved it for later. Oh my gosh, I am looking rough. Okay, well, I left Seattle and I drove 2.5 hours, and now I'm in Longview, Washington, and it's a little sketchy here. It's a little industrial area. I found a Walmart, but I'm not feeling like 100% safe, so I thought that I would dip into this pie as a little snack and then maybe drive for another 40 minutes to Vancouver, Washington, and find a place to sleep there, which I think is a bigger population and will probably be better suited. So let's try this pie. Okay, this pie came from a store called A la Mode, and this is their holiday pumpkin, and it looks delicious. I was trying to decide between this one and the apple pear, but this one won out just by a little bit because they have a pumpkin seed brittle on top, and it looks really, really good. Get a little whipped cream in there. Bro, holy, that's good pie. It's not just like a regular pumpkin pie, like that jelly kind of consistency. It's kind of like pumpkin mousse. Maybe it is pumpkin mousse. I'll have to look at the menu, the way they described the ingredients, but this is super good. Oh my gosh. I just tasted the outside crust. That is scrumptious. I was only gonna take a few bites, but I kind of can't stop. I'm gonna take a bite of this pumpkin seed brittle. Oh, stop it. To rate my breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, I'm gonna go in reverse order. My fourth place is gonna have to be Taco Chucas because it was just too spicy to enjoy. My third favorite is Biscuit Bitch because even though it was so good, so delicious, the portion was way too big for one person and the price was too high for my taste. Number 2 was A la Mode with that delicious holiday pumpkin pie. So good, especially with that pumpkin seed brittle. And number 1, not even a competition, and something that I feel is a number 1 not only in Seattle but in a lot of places I've traveled to, was Marination Ma Kai. Everything about that place I give a thumbs up. And I think you should give this video a thumbs up too if you like food. And the food in Seattle, I approve, and I would definitely go back and try more things.